Hello everyone, back again with movie and tune recap. Today, I'm going to explain a British horror thriller film from 2011, titled The Task. Spoilers ahead, so watch out and take care. The movie begins in the bustling city of New York, where we meet Dixon, a young student walking through the streets, unaware that he is being watched. As he moves along, he accidentally bumps into a woman carrying a box. While helping her pick up her things, he is suddenly kidnapped by masked men and thrown into a van, where he finds himself with 5 other terrified students. After a long drive, the kidnappers stop at an abandoned prison, and brought out the remaining students, which consists of Shu, Randall, Tony, Stanton, and Angel, who are brother and sister. They soon realize that they have all been selected for a reality TV game show, one they had previously auditioned for but never heard back from. However, instead of a formal invitation, they have been forcibly taken to participate. The challenge is simple: spend a night in the abandoned prison, and whoever makes it through will share a prize of $20,000. Outside of the prison, the host of the show, Taylor, along with his cameraman Snow, greets the contestants, and with the contestants' handcuffs, Taylor takes away their belongings before offering them one last chance to back out. A yellow taxi pulls up, ready to take anyone home, but determined to win, none of the students choose to leave. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, the reality show crew, Connie, Skleezy, and Big Daddy, monitor the game from their control room, having already set up hidden cameras inside the prison. Taylor explains the contestants' first task: to free themselves from the handcuffs. The key to unlock them is hidden in the warden's office, and he gives them directions on how to find it. Before sending them in, he hands Angel a flashlight to help them navigate through the darkness. As the group makes their way inside, they suddenly hear dogs barking, and unbeknownst to them, the sounds are just an effect created by Skleezy to scare them. Terrified, they run for their lives, and just then, all the cameras inside the prison briefly glitch before returning to normal. Despite their fear, the contestants manage to locate the warden's office, find the key and unlock their handcuffs. The contestants discover a letter in the warden's office, instructing each of them to retrieve a chess piece from a box in the room. The piece they choose will serve as their symbol for the game, and they are strictly forbidden from trading it. One by one, the contestants pick their pieces, and moments later, a TV monitor flickers on, revealing an evil clown. The clown delivers a chilling warning about the prison's history, specifically about the warden, a notorious figure who once worked at the facility. The warden was sentenced to death after being convicted of brutally murdering inmates. According to rumors, his spirit still roams the prison, and the contestants must now face him as part of the game. For the first task, Randall, who selects the white queen chess piece, is given a challenge: he must navigate to the prison's chapel. With only a microphone to communicate and a map provided to the rest of the group, the others are tasked with guiding him along the way. Randall begins his journey, following the group's instructions, and suddenly, his flashlight suddenly stops working, plunging him into darkness. Despite the setback, he presses on, relying on their guidance, and eventually, he comes across an unsettling scene: a room filled with hanging baby dolls. As he moves through the eerie space, Randall begins to feel a sinister presence, convinced someone or something is following him. He finally reaches the chapel, where he is instructed to recite the Lord's Prayer backwards to summon the warden's spirit, and reluctantly, Randall begins the task. Partway through, the audience catches a glimpse of the warden's ghostly figure behind Randall. Trembling but determined, Randall completes the prayer and successfully returns to the group. Meanwhile, technical issues with the cameras inside the prison disrupt the live feed, leading to several blackouts, and Taylor sends Skleezy to fix the problem. At the same time, tensions flare between Taylor and Connie. Taylor confronts Connie for withholding details about the prison's gruesome history, particularly about the warden's documented torture of female inmates. He accused Connie of missing an opportunity to boost the show's appeal with the darker elements of the story, but Connie defends her decision, arguing that they could face lawsuits if such details are aired. After fixing the cameras, Skleezy encounters the warden but mistakes the menacing figure he encounters for one of his crew members playing a prank. Before he can react, the warden attacks, stabbing Skleezy in the eye, which lead to his death. Meanwhile, the game continues with Dixon, who holds the bishop chess piece, assigned the second task. His challenge is to lie in a hole in the ground while wearing a boiler suit, and he is giving directions. After wearing the boiler suit, Dixon climbs into the hole, and suddenly, the warden arrives and locks him inside. Connie, Big Daddy, and Snow witness the horrifying scene through the cameras, and an argument stirs up between Connie and Big Daddy, as she accuses him of hiring someone. However, Big Daddy insists he didn't hire anyone, and they start to suspect that the network has secretly escalated the game, effectively turning them into unwilling participants. However, instead of intervening, they decide to let the show continue. The third task involves Shu and Randall, who are directed to the prison kitchen, and their challenge is to cook and eat a suspicious slab of meat, which they are led to believe is human flesh. Randall manages to complete the task, but Shu, who is a vegetarian, vomits after trying the meat. While this unfolds, Snow attempts to contact Skleezy over the walkie-talkie, unaware of his fate, and the team grows uneasy as they fail to reach him. The fourth task leads Tony and Stanton to the gas chamber, with Angel guiding them via the microphone. Stanton is instructed to restrain Tony in a chair and place a gas mask on her face. Once the chamber begins to fill with gas, Stanton is sent to find a switch hidden somewhere in the prison to stop the flow. While Tony waits inside helpless, the warden suddenly appears, removes her mask, and leaves her gasping for air. As Randall and Shu make their way back to the base, they encounter the warden lurking in the hallways. Panicked, they try to evade him but are horrified to find him appearing wherever they turn. The warden finally catches up to them and brutally stabs both to death. Connie and the rest of the crew watch in shock through the cameras as the warden's rampage unfolds, and fear begins to set in as they realize the danger is all too real. As Stanton turns off the gas in time to save Tony, the warden suddenly appears from nowhere, knocks Stanton unconscious and carries him away. Watching these events unfold on the monitors, Connie grows increasingly concerned, and realizing the situation is spiraling out of control, she sends Big Daddy and Taylor into the prison to investigate and check on the contestants. Once inside, Big Daddy and Taylor catch a glimpse of the warden, and determined to confront him, they follow in pursuit but are ambushed and attacked. Back in the control room, Connie panics and attempts to warn Angel through the microphone to leave the prison immediately. However, Angel, who is now entirely focused on completing her task to free Tony and Dixon, dismisses Connie's warnings as part of the show. Angel continues navigating the prison in search of her teammates and stumbles into a grimy cell where she finds a knife lying on the table. Moments later, the warden appears, holding the key she needs, and believing the knife to be real, Angel stabs the warden, snatches the key and runs away. Distraught over what she is seeing and determined to find answers, Connie decides to enter the prison herself. Meanwhile, Stanton regains consciousness inside a filthy cell, only to discover he is hanging upside down by his ankles. With the warden looming nearby, two malnourished inmates emerge from the shadows and creep toward him, but he fends them off. Angel arrives at Stanton's location and is horrified to see him dangling helplessly, and she witnesses in fear as the warden stabs Stanton in the neck. As he bleeds out, more of the abused inmates swarm, and tear him savagely, and paralyzed by fear at the gruesome sight, Angel flees for her life. Running blindly through the corridors, she collides with Connie, who has just entered the prison. Seeing the warden from afar, Connie urges Angel to run while she bravely stays behind to face him. The warden approaches Connie and prepare to stab her, but he suddenly stops, and to her surprise, two more wardens, Shu, Randall, Taylor, and Big Daddy, arrive, all alive. Taylor reveals that the entire show was a setup. Connie was the real contestant, and she is now the winner of the game. After the initial shock, Connie is tasked with retrieving Tony, while Taylor is sent to get Dixon, and the others are instructed to leave the prison. However, Taylor discovers that Dixon has been murdered in the solitary confinement, and when Connie reached the gas chamber, she finds Tony already dead. Suddenly, the warden appears and traps Connie inside the gas chamber, before releasing the gas, and in an attempt to escape, the others are sealed inside the prison. As the gas takes effect, Connie screams in agony, and the remaining cast suffers excruciating pain when the warden let out an ear-piercing scream. Meanwhile, Angel managed to escape out of the prison, having discovered people were being murdered by the real warden. She is confronted by Snow, who follows her with his camera asking her for a final word, not knowing the rest of the cast and crew are trapped in the prison. In anger, Angel responds by breaking his camera, and the movie concludes. Okay guys, that's all the recap about the task from 2011. Thanks for watching, see you again in the next video.